April 14th, 2026, a date that historians will study for centuries. A date that marks the moment when the post-World War II global order, the one America built, the one America protected, the one the entire world depended on, began to crack. Not with a nuclear explosion, not with a declaration of war, but with one ship, one Chinese tanker, sailing through waters that the United States Navy had declared off-limits. And with that single act of defiance, the world entered a new era. To understand what happened today, we have to go back, not just weeks, but decades. Because what you witnessed on April 14th, 2026 didn't begin yesterday. It began the moment America decided it would be the world's policeman, and China decided it would not be policed. The Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. Just 21 miles, barely the width of the English Channel, and yet through this tiny passage flows roughly 20% of the world's entire oil supply every single day. Billions of dollars, millions of barrels, the lifeblood of the modern economy. Shut this strait and economies collapse. Factories go dark, food prices explode, governments fall. Control this strait and you control the world. February 28th, 2026, the date everything changed. The United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, a massive, coordinated air campaign against Iran. Hundreds of strikes, military facilities, nuclear sites, command centers. And in the chaos of that first night, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, the man who had ruled Iran for over 3 decades, was killed. The world held its breath. Iran's response was immediate, devastating, and calculated. Iran's Revolutionary Guards did what no nation had dared to do since World War II. They effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz. Mines in the water, drones in the air, missiles on standby. A gauntlet of death for any ship that dared to enter without permission. Overnight, 20% of the world's oil supply simply stopped. Oil prices didn't just rise, they exploded. Analysts warned of $100 per barrel, then higher. The global economy, still fragile from years of disruption, began to tremble. For weeks, the world watched in horror as 21 strikes hit merchant ships, as tankers burned in the Persian Gulf, as 230 fully loaded oil tankers sat anchored, going nowhere, waiting. Billions of dollars of cargo, nowhere to go. The world's most important shipping lane had become the world's most dangerous body of water. Her name was the Rich Starry, a medium-range chemical tanker. Malawi-flagged, Chinese-owned, operated by Shanghai Shunran Shipping Company, crew of Chinese sailors. She had been sanctioned by the United States Treasury Department since 2023, blacklisted for helping Iran evade energy sanctions. Washington had already tried to punish this ship once, and she had kept sailing. On Monday, April 13th, as the American blockade came into effect, the Rich Starry made her first move. She sailed toward the Strait of Hormuz, the most dangerous stretch of water on Earth, 21 miles. American warships on one side, Iranian mines on the other. Then she hesitated. Near Iran's Kesh Island, the tanker slowed, turned back. Perhaps her captain received orders. Perhaps he assessed the risk. Perhaps he was waiting for something. But the Rich Starry was not done. In the evening hours, she turned around again. She sailed back toward the strait. This time, no turning back. By early Tuesday morning, April 14, 2026, satellite tracking data confirmed what many had feared and some had hoped for. The Rich Starry had passed through the Strait of Hormuz. A US-sanctioned Chinese-owned tanker carrying 250,000 barrels of methanol had sailed right through the American Naval Blockade. Destination: China. For a moment, the world went silent. Then the implications hit like a shockwave. Now, before we go further, a critical distinction that the media has largely missed. The American blockade targeted vessels heading to or from Iranian ports. The Rich Starry was not heading to an Iranian port. She was heading to China. Under the specific terms of the blockade, she was technically in a gray zone. But here is what matters politically, strategically, and historically. A US-sanctioned Chinese vessel defied American naval authority in the world's most contested waterway, and America did not stop her. The precedent is staggering. For 70 years, American naval supremacy has been the backbone of global trade. The reason ships can sail anywhere in the world is because America, and America alone, has maintained the peace at sea. Today, that certainty cracked. Iran, meanwhile, was reportedly allowing Chinese vessels to transit through its own controlled corridor in exchange for what Beijing and Tehran call trade and energy arrangements. In effect, China had negotiated a separate deal with Iran, a private understanding, a bilateral understanding that cut America completely out of the equation. China didn't need American permission to keep its oil flowing.
The economic consequences of what's
Iran's.
happening right now are almost impossible to overstate. The International Energy Agency has already slashed its global oil supply and demand forecasts. It warns that global oil demand could fall by 80,000 barrels per day this year alone, as scarcity and higher prices spread devastation across the world economy. The IMF is projecting global growth will slow to just 3.1% in 2026, and that's if the conflict stays limited. Oil prices are approaching $100 per barrel. The largest monthly price gain ever recorded happened in March. The world has not seen an oil supply shock this severe since the 1970s. And it's not just oil. Through the Strait of Hormuz flows 20% of the world's liquefied natural gas, 30 to 35% of globally traded fertilizers, the raw materials that feed billions of people. 230 loaded oil tankers are stranded in the Persian Gulf right now, waiting, going nowhere. Every day they sit there, the world gets a little poorer, a little more desperate, a little closer to the edge. So where does this end? History gives us three possible paths. Scenario 1. Diplomacy prevails. America and Iran return to the negotiating table. China uses its influence with Tehran to push for a deal. The blockade is lifted, the strait reopens, the world pulls back from the abyss. Oil prices fall. Global trade resumes. The crisis becomes a chapter in history books, not the opening of World War III. This is the best case. It is possible, but with every passing day, it becomes harder. Scenario 2. Controlled escalation. The blockade holds. More Chinese ships test the line. America is forced to choose, enforce the blockade against Chinese vessels and risk direct military confrontation with a nuclear power, or stand down and admit that its blockade is effectively meaningless. Either choice carries catastrophic consequences. Iran continues its squeeze. Oil stays above $100. Economies crack. Governments face unrest. The war expands slowly like a fire finding new fuel. Scenario 3. The unthinkable. A miscalculation. A shot fired in anger. An American warship and a Chinese vessel in the wrong place at the wrong time. An accident that neither side intended, but neither side can walk back. History is full of wars that nobody wanted, started by moments nobody planned. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, moments that seem small in the moment and enormous in retrospect. Right now, in the Strait of Hormuz, the conditions for exactly that kind of moment exist. April 14th, 2026. A Chinese tanker sailed through waters that America said were closed, and the world changed. Not because of the methanol in that ship's cargo hold, not because of the 250,000 barrels, but because of what it represents. For the first time since World War II, a rival great power has openly, publicly, physically challenged American control of the seas and gotten away with it. Every nation on earth is watching. Every admiral, every prime minister, every dictator who has ever chafed under American dominance. They are all watching to see what America does next. Because if America does nothing, truly nothing, then the post-war order is over. And if America does something, truly something, then we may be at the beginning of the most dangerous moment since October 1962, when the world stood at the brink of nuclear war over a small island called Cuba. The Strait of Hormuz is 21 miles wide. The distance between peace and catastrophe may be even smaller. History is being written right now, and all of us, every human being alive on this planet, are watching to see how the story ends. This has been your historical record of April 14th, 2026, the day a Chinese tanker sailed into history.